All right, what's up, y'all? It's Tyler. We're here to do the reading for the second half of Aries season. But before we get into it, I'm going to do this first. Please like this if you like it. It helps a lot for the algorithms and helping me get this video out. Share this if you think it'll be helpful for anybody, and subscribe if you want to follow along with these readings for the future. But listen, let's get the elephant out of the room. It is already past the midway point of Aries season. I'm fully recording this like a couple days past the midpoint of Aries season, but that's just kind of how the energy is going right now. So bear with me. I know y'all are also feeling like the intensity building up from the Aries energy that wants to be birthed. Keyword. But it's not quite emerged yet. It's been an interesting Aries season so far since Mars has still been in Pisces. So like the energetic like capacity quite has not been there for what wants to begin yet. But I'm so excited about this message. It feels really cool. It feels really fun in my opinion. And it's super interesting because I was channeling a little bit at group meditation on Saturday. And the image that I got was an ultrasound, and in kind of respect for me, it made total sense because I have a creative project that's getting ready to be birthed. But when I channeled this message for the second half of Aries season, oh my god, it all makes sense. And like, I'm expecting right now, and I feel like everybody else is expecting right now. You're with child. And I'm calling this energy for the second half of Aries season what to expect when you're expecting. Because it feels like, in large part, us as a collective, we are in like the gestational period or incubating period, right? Let's start off the reading. The first two cards that we got was the House Mother in the reverse, and my card, the Beware of You, which is the High Priestess. And so this is such an interesting combination. The House Mother in the reverse, that is the Empress card. And so as we're stepping into the second half of Aries season, there is this really felt difference in like the quality of energy, especially within our bodies, with this Empress card in the reverse. The High Priestess, the Beware of You card, is so intuitive, it's so psychic, it's so porous, and it's really tapping into the energetic quality of, our experiences and our surroundings. And, the Empress card, she's very physical, she's very tangible. It very much reminds me of like the somatic experience of like feeling good and pleasure within your body. And so it also represents like expansion and fertility and birth and creation, right? The reversal is going to show a little bit of tension in that regard. Maybe, you feel like you're not in the most viable space or energy or surroundings for what is growing to really have its fullest potential to grow to full manifestation, right? So this Beware of You and this House Mother in the reverse is so funny. It's very divine feminine, and a lot of times, even before women are certain, like logically, they can feel something new, something different within their body. And I think that is what all of us are experiencing right now. It's the difference of feeling within our current body or our current state, right? Something is getting ready to be birthed. Something new wants to be put forward. But I think there is a very felt quality of not being in the right space, right? Not being in the right environment, or not consuming the proper nutrients or any of those things to kind of, make sure what is birthing has its fullest potential to grow and thrive. There's something else that I wanted to bring forward with this combination. Let me just look at my notes really fast. Yeah, it just says intuitive expectation of what is expanding within us to be birthed. However, our current state or environment may not be steady or fertile enough for the seed to grow, right? So that is the energetic quality where we're stepping into right now. We move into this child of chalices, which is the Page of Cups, and the intention card, which is the Ace of Pentacles within my deck. And I think this is so funny because I just see this combination as this idea of taking a pregnancy test. You know what I mean? It's like trying to see if what is growing actually is real, is actually like tangible in some type of way. So I think this is occurring in a few different ways, right? For some people, this could be an actual pregnancy, right? You are, either discovering that you're pregnant or you're furthering along on your pregnancy journey and, this baby is about to be born, but you're realizing you're not quite ready physically in your reality to kind of sustain this or make sure that it is best supported the way it should be, right? So, this energy of the Child of Chalices and the intention Ace of Pentacles cards, I wrote down, this is the pregnancy test to confirm that the baby is real, right? This could be a creative project or pursuit for people, or this could be a rebirth of self, like the way that you express and show your identity creatively, as a whole. Some people are birthing a new baby, some people are birthing a creative project, and some people are recreating or rebirthing their sense of self. So then when this combination comes through, the question is, do you have the capacity, or do you have the capacity and the embodied desire to sustain this seed to full potential, right? So this Page of Cups, Child of Chalices is going to more so represent the desire. And then this Ace of Pentacles really hammers that kind of embodied type of connection there. And I honestly feel like this combination of water and earth is more than just disciplinary. It's more so devotional, right? Because this new beginning that we feel growing inside of us, it has to also be deeply fulfilling on an emotional level, right? Otherwise, you won't be able to take this or show up for this and nurture it to its fullest potential. It has to be like this new seed, this new intention has to be watered with the essence of your heart, in order for it to feel real. So this type of combination here coming through after the Empress in the reverse and the High Priestess, this is the pregnancy test. This is confirming if this intention is real or viable. And also, the other question to ask yourself is, does this intention or this seed, does it also nurture you in all forms and senses, right? Because this Empress card is all about that physical sensation. If she's not feeling pleasurable within her body, then what is wanting to grow doesn't have the right ingredients. It doesn't have the right nurturing. It doesn't have the right care. I want to move forward from this area into kind of the potential, the highlights or achievements that we can look forward to with the second half of Aries season. And this is a cool combination. I pulled the Elder of Lanterns, which is the King of Wands. And then I pulled my card, the Burning Man card, in the reverse, which is the King of Wands in the reverse. So we have the King of Wands upright, clarified with the King of Wands in the reverse. There's another card that came out here, but I want to start with these two, right? Because this King of Wands energy is how we are actively deciding to show up for our purpose, for our desires, for our creative potentials, right? It's interesting to have the King of Wands here because fire energy could be really prideful. It could get really attached to how its certain actions reflects on its identity. you know? And to kind of skip forward a little bit, we do have the Sun card that's also coming out in this spread. So there is definitely some sensitivity around perception, visibility, and being seen. But I think that this combination here, King of Wands upright with the King of Wands in the reverse, is such an interesting combination because I think the success or possible achievement that we have to look forward to is kind of realizing like what things actually light us up and what things that we were engaging with just out of performance, you know, or, you know, the things that have provided a sense of external validation. Um, there is also this kind of awareness of your natural energetic levels and your personal creative flow, you know? So if you are birthing a new project, you have a new project in mind, like there is a new awareness that is coming through on your creative process in general. Like, you know, what parts of the day or, you know, what kind of things could you engage with or do you engage with that really enhance your creative potential? And what things make you tired? What things burn you out? What things do you not really have the energy for, even if they provide a sense of validation? The last card that came out with this was the Sleepwalking card, which is the Moon in my deck. So the combination of these three cards, I think, is super curious, right? Because I want to go down kind of this process where the first two cards, we are intuitively feeling kind of this baby, this child within us that is incubating, and this new potential or opportunity that wants to be birthed, right? And the next step, we are doing like the pregnancy test, and it's kind of like dipping your toe into what this is to see if this actually is a part of you, an authentic piece of you that comes from the heart, you know, that feels deeply satisfying and fulfilling on an emotional level, right? So then from there, we get into this King of Wands, upright and reverse, and this Moon card, where moving from this space where we have just dipped our toe and kind of are seeing ourselves now in this new potential. This is getting what you want and then also being afraid of that. You know what I mean? Like if, say, and I think this is a common thing that people experience where there are certain, I guess, potentials or opportunities that they wish that they can have, right? And then when it comes in, you kind of get nervous. You kind of get scared. It's just like, oh, now that I have this thing, how do I show up for it? How do I maintain it? How do I keep it? How do I, you know, do all that stuff? But including this type of energy of the sleepwalking of the Moon card, this is definitely amplifying those fears of success, those fears of finally aligning with this particular opportunity or this particular, you know, new creative potential or goal. Because how does that then reflect on your identity, you know? I kind of get this thought of like, say there was something that you wanted, right? But you don't tell anybody. It's just a deep, like, subconscious need, a subconscious desire that you've always wanted. Maybe people don't know on an external level, right? Then you get that thing, and then people are looking at you like, oh my God, I didn't know that you wanted something like that. I didn't know that that's what you wanted, you know? And I think that is kind of the tension that really comes up here, is where you get what you want, but then it kind of makes you like take a step back or retreat a little bit because of, you know, just the, I guess, external perception of you, of your identity, in regards to, you know, fully embracing this desire that people didn't realize was living dormant in you to begin with, you know? Yeah. I feel like that's a good place to leave this and kind of step into the next section. You know, this is before we get there, this is definitely seeing new possibilities for yourself, for your identity. You know, possibilities that you never felt comfortable to align with before, just because of how your external reality can respond to that, right? But there is also an excitement that's here. You know what I mean? There's also a creative joy and potential that lives here within this new path that I think we're becoming a little bit more curious of. And I think we are unpacking any type of subconscious fears around fully embodying this and fully engaging with this desire and way of expressing yourself and way of being, you know? So moving to the next position, this is how we can stay grounded at this time. And it's coming through with the Sun card and the like this, like that, which is the Two of Pentacles in the reverse from my deck. This type of position here is really about decisions that need to be made. And really those like small, everyday, like mundane choices that help take you further along the path of building towards a long-term goal, right? Because I definitely feel like a lot of us are shifting values in regards to this new birth, this new child that is birthing. And in order for us to really grow this to its fullest potential, there needs to be a shift in the environment. There needs to be a shift in what you're consuming. There needs to be a shift in kind of your values and your direction in regards to how you build towards this success, right? Once again, with this King of Wands and also this Sun energy, this plays heavily on our identity and how, you know, we express on a like social scale, on an external scale. Where was I going with that? What I was trying to say is that there are particular sacrifices that need to be made that no longer fit the context of what is birthing, right? So it reminds me of this idea of, you know, say you're a new parent and when you're pregnant, like, you can't drink anymore. You can't eat raw fish. You can't, you know, do certain things. And you may want to engage with different communities of people who are more in line with this new identity that you're kind of starting to embody, that you're kind of starting to, like, step into, because they provide common ground. They provide camaraderie. They provide community and nurture to fully grow into this new sense of being. Fully, you know, solidify this new project or this new like value system that you desire to move forward with, especially in regards to your personal expression and kind of the role that you play in a social sense, right? So when you are on this new path, on this new journey, you know what I mean, you just planted this seed with the intention, then you're just like, okay, how do I keep myself on this path? It's really just about continuing to make the decisions that affirm this new identity, that affirm this new truth, you know? So yeah, say that you were a person who likes to go out and party, and you used to always be known as the party person who can handle all these drinks, right? And now you're pregnant, and this container for your identity has to shift for you to really be your best, and for you to you know, kind of nurture this new baby that's growing inside you to its fullest potential. So instead of, you know, having alcohol, you have to switch to juice or, you know, just water or something like that. You know, that's kind of what this energy is for the grounding. It's like, hey, you are aware of something new that is being birthed or is growing, and in order for you to not fall off this wagon or to provide the most viable environment for this growth, you have to make the decisions that affirm this, that continue to affirm this, rather than going back on, you know, any former way of building or, you know, holding on to these former sources that affirmed a old identity that is dying off. You know what I mean? An old identity that no longer has enough space to fit how you're expanding. So moving forward, we're going into how you can cultivate more peace at this time. Another interesting combination here, we have the Two of Chalices reversed, Two of Cups reversed, and the Fill the Void, which is the Seven of Cups card, right? So I want to start with the Fill the Void, because with the Seven of Cups, this is typically when you are seeking, you're seeking sources of emotional fulfillment, but it's more so of like regulation, right? Because when it comes to the Seven of Cups, a lot of these particular sources that you utilize to kind of help keep you level, they don't provide a sense of deep fulfillment, a deep sense of satisfaction, right? They're more so temporary. They're more so kind of getting you through or distracting you from a current upset or a current emotional like emptiness, you know? But in order to fully step out of this kind of grasping energy, you have to allow yourself to let go of the sources that you know are not fully meaningful or are not deeply sustaining or satisfying, you know, or fulfilling. This energy here is also reminding me kind of those former spaces that we may need to sacrifice in service of your new goal and your new path, right? The person who used the party and is now pregnant, they need more communities that are wholesome, or more communities that are, you know, I guess like family oriented, or just more in line with a slower, more grounding type of pace. And this really fits in whatever direction that you're going. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be, you know, I used to drink and now I don't drink. It's really any context outside of this former identity that is falling away. You know what I mean? This former identity, which would represent kind of the wrong container or environment to nurture the new expression. What are the things, what are the values that you have to shift? What sources of consumption do you have to sacrifice in order to be present with, you know, this new intention, this new opportunity, this new investment and new goal that you're moving towards? Yeah, and what new sources or new spaces can you utilize that are healthy, that are nurturing, that are beneficial, for further validating the new direction, the new creative path, the new personal expression. Yeah, there's just, whenever I see the Seven of Cups especially, it just feels like distraction. You know what I mean? It feels like dissociating, right? And so in order to kind of fully make sure that you are continuing this growth and tending to, you know, what is birthing, what's becoming, you just have to be present. And you have to be willing to let go of the things that were keeping you in a space of comfort, but then ultimately end up being restricting for the new identity. Last position, we have the Message from Spirit. I pulled 4 cards here because I needed a lot. But I have the Sibling of Flags, which is the Knight of Swords reverse. I have the Head of House reverse, which is the King of Pentacles reverse. I also pulled the Let's Face the Facts reverse, Six of Swords, and the Instructions Not Included, Eight of Pentacles in the reverse. Okay, so this is the advice from Spirit at this time, especially with this sibling of flags, Knight of Swords, and the King of Pentacles reverse. There's different ways that you could be experiencing this, right? With the Knight of Swords reverse, there is definitely tension when it comes to feeling confident with the logical and the rational and linear kind of idea of how to move down this new path, right? And then with the King of Pentacles too, you could be someone who is used to working with, you know, the material and the tangible, making a plan, making a list, or having a framework to go down and check off these marks so that you know that you are moving closer to something, right? Well, if you are a first-time parent, you know, you kind of have to make up the rules on your own, which is what is showing up here with the King of Pentacles reverse, Knight of Swords reverse, but then also the Six of Swords reverse and the Eight of Pentacles reverse, right? Because this Eight of Pentacles really feels like having that roadmap or having that framework or those guidelines, or even having a recipe, you know what I mean? Say you were cooking something. But the thing is right now is that, you know, the recipe that you were using to maintain and affirm the old identity is not going to work for the new identity that you are moving into and trying to embody, right? But then also with this Six of Swords in the reverse, it's like you can't sweep anything under the rug. You have to be fully present in order to know what is working and what's not working, but also how to adjust. I feel like these two cards here, they're very liminal, you know? And the King of Pentacles and the Knight of Swords does not enjoy liminal. They enjoy certainty. They enjoy linearity. They enjoy step-by-step progress, which is not what this time is about. This time right now is about reorienting. It's about shifting rhythms, shifting values, shifting perspectives. And then also, it's all about the adjustment period, you know what I mean? I think, especially right now, since we are planting this new seed, you're not going to immediately see the growth. You need time for the roots to take place. You need time to learn and understand what are the proper nutrients, when is the proper feeding times, what are the proper foods that this you know, this baby needs. I want to keep saying baby, and I don't want to like have people so caught up in this idea of having a literal baby, because it doesn't have to be a literal baby. It could be a new sense of self or a new creative project. So for some of you, you know, you're so used to working with the linearity that in order for you to kind of keep your nervous system calm at the moment, just realize that you are creating this map yourself, and you can utilize different frameworks, but it's about making it your own, you know what I mean, and adjusting when you are coming up against, you know, what is working and what's not working. For others, I think this really is about kind of the growth that is happening in your mindset, or the confidence that's being built in your mindset and in your kind of perception in regards to being able to build a structure or a container, or, you know, something tangible. I think there might be some of you that doubt your ability to do that, but don't realize that you've always been a master of doing this kind of building in a way that is not linear, or is not traditional, or is not, you know, within the normal container or framework that people believe that you need to move, to build, you know, more success. You know, it's just you are aware that the journey and that progress is not linear already to begin with. So this is more so about you developing more confidence in working without a container, you know? And even if it's almost like this idea of like you're building something that is very personal, and you know, even though you know that you're doing this in a way that has not been given to you, on the outside it's going to look like you're following this rule book anyways, you know what I mean? Because people just, that's just how people perceive. They're never going to be able to know what's actually within you, or the actual intimate details of what is holding up your manifestation, because they don't know you. They're just going to see the success on the outside and be like, they're going to attribute it to whatever system that they think helped somebody build in this way, right? But then you know on the inside, it's like, I didn't use this system. I just made it all up as I go. That's the other thing that I'm seeing. It's like this moment right now, we're planting new seeds. We are not meant to know exactly all the steps, all the rules. The progress is not meant to be linear. And yeah, this is just about adjusting in all those moments where you feel like what you are trying to utilize, what tools you're utilizing, are not working for your specific intention, for your specific seed. Okay, so that was the tarot message. I hope that makes sense. I'm going to go into the Barbie Oracle, and I pulled the Beach Shades, and I'll read that for you. All right, Beach Shades. You can't see the negativity when you're wearing your most glam shades. One of the most iconic Barbie accessories is a classic pair of cat eye sunglasses. All the better to block out the bad vibes and embrace the rose-colored glasses. Rumors and gossip are inevitable in life. Barbie can attest to that. You're more than the number of likes or followers, more than a callous comment or thread. So put on your glasses, because it's not about what other people see, but how you approach the world, what makes you feel good, and how you treat others. And that's exactly it. It's like you're putting your blinders on right now, especially in regards to what new sense of self is birthing. Whether you are creating, creating your own, project to put yourself out there, or you are birthing an actual baby, or you are recreating your personal identity, right? People are always going to have something to say, but it doesn't matter as long as what you are building and what you are moving towards is meaningful for you, it's satisfying for you, it's completely your own. You know what I mean? So it doesn't matter if somebody doesn't like the piece of art that you made, because you didn't make that piece of art for them. It was something that was in you that needed to be expressed, that needed to be birthed. People don't have to like it. It just is, you know? And then finishing off with the animal spirit. So what animal spirit is relevant for us as a collective as we move through the second half of Aries season? Anything we need to know, be aware of, or possibly embody with the animal spirits? Please and thank you. The lamb. Alright, so let's see what the lamb has to say. The lamb is an earth energy. Okay. The lamb. It says, peaceful, prophetic, patient. The lamb is the bearer of an important message. Its contents can only be heard when a deep level of quiet has been established. Lamb energy is the honest guidance you hear from an old friend, a young child, or sometimes a surprising stranger. Though the lamb's message may channel through another person, the wisdom resonates within you. It will repeat and reverberate until you listen. Approach this gentle creature with utmost patience and reverence. Truth is a gift. Sit still, listen, receive. When in balance, knowingness and inner peace. When out of balance, quiet, timid, concerned. To bring into balance, meditation, listening. Yeah. This is bringing me back to that very first kind of combination of cards with the High Priestess and the Empress card, because that is all about that stillness. It's all about that listening. But then it also is all about the wisdom that is resonating within you. You know what I mean? Even if you're receiving some type of special message or guidance from a stranger, that might be me. What's happening right now is very much felt within you. And this just affirms kind of what you already have known, what you already intuitively have been feeling, growing inside of you, expanding inside of you. So this message, this card, this video, this could be the pregnancy test that says, hey, it's positive. You're pregnant. So how are you getting ready for your new birth? That's what I have for you guys. I hope this was a meaningful message for y'all. Once again, like this if you liked it. Share it if you think it'll be meaningful for somebody. I also want to know your experiences. Comment down below how you are moving through this energy right now or what you are birthing. And then also subscribe if you want to follow for more readings in the future. And then last but not least, I invite you to check out my Ko-Fi page, ko-fi.com/recklessabandontarot. That is going to be my hub for my services and, you know, just kind of the messages that I want to put out in the future. So check that out. Donate if you feel so inclined. And I love y'all. I hope that you all enjoy the second half of Aries season. I know that I was late, but there's still a lot of potential here. So I'll see you next time.